the vote from city council members to appoint him back to his seat. Here's what he had to say.
Cameron Sexton, your foreparents may have founded the Klan in Tennessee, but we are rising up today to say that we will not bow down any longer. It's time to move out the way, because if you don't, we'll continue to show up at the Capitol week after week after week and say that this is not a palace, this is not the Bellmead Country Club, this is not a fraternity house, this is the people's house, and we will not be silent.
And the folks here have not been silent this entire afternoon, from City Hall to the Capitol steps to right here at Legislative Plaza, as they are listening to Justin Jones again. Just the latest in this ongoing saga as Justin Jones reclaims the seat he was just kicked out from. Live in Nashville, Jason Lamb, News Channel 5.
Jason, thank you. And more breaking news that we've been following today. Tragedy hits neighboring Kentucky after 4 people were gunned down inside a Louisville bank. Police shot and killed the suspect, but still so many questions remain. Our 5 Alert anchor Hunter Hoagland is following this from the newsroom. Tough to think that we're talking, Hunter, about yet another mass shooting.
It really is, Rory. Just 2 weeks after 6 innocent lives were lost at the Covenant School, now another community is grappling with a tragedy of their own. Tonight, we are now learning more about the person who gunned down 4 people inside a Louisville bank. Louisville police say the shooter, 23-year-old Connor Sturgeon, was an employee at the bank you're seeing right here. According to Sturgeon's LinkedIn page, he was an intern at Old National Bank for 3 summers in a row and then became a full-time employee back in 2021. Now, police say the shooter opened fire with an AR-15 and acted alone. 5 people were shot and killed, including the gunman, who police say live streamed the entire rampage. 9 other victims were taken to the hospital, 2 of which were police officers. We just heard from Kentucky's governor not too long ago, who says this shooting really hits close to home, as he knew every single person inside that bank.
We lost 4 children of God today, one of whom was one of my closest friends. Tommy Elliott helped me build my law career, helped me become governor, gave me advice on being a good dad. He's one of the people I talk to most in the world, and very rarely were we talking about my job. He was an incredible friend.
And we are told Louisville police were on the scene within 3 minutes and did not hesitate to breach the bank. One of the officers who was shot came out of brain surgery this afternoon and is in critical condition here tonight. The city of Louisville now planning a vigil of their own, hoping to promote some kind of healing. And Carrie, it's something our own city did not even 2 weeks ago.
Sadly, indeed we did. Hunter, thank you for the update. In light of the recent mass shooting, some lawmakers want to adopt red flag laws in Tennessee. Under the law, family members and law enforcement could petition a court to remove weapons from a person who is at risk to themselves or others. News Channel 5's Chris Davis spoke to a woman who believes, based on her own life experiences, that law is desperately needed.
I can replay it in my head over and over. And
as a retired Metro officer,
because of training,
Twana Chick could just tell something was wrong with her brother.
His diagnosis was narcissistic personality disorder with obsessive compulsive traits.
So back in 2021, she reached out to several organizations, seeing if there was anything they could do about him owning weapons.
We were trying to find any legal means to intervene, and there was none, because Tennessee does not have that mechanism in place. There is no red flag law.
She was worried he might harm himself. She never imagined he'd try to kill her.
And at approximately 7:30 that evening is when my brother fired on me. The first round hit me in my right lung. The second round hit me in my right wrist and severed the artery and the nerve.
She was shot 10 times as she managed to stagger away from her parents' front porch to triage her own wounds, as her brother died by suicide.
I felt like this was a sucking chest wound, so my arm was on that. And in the middle of all of that, I was trying to get my phone to dial 911, which I had difficulty with.
Many parts of her body are forever changed.
And both of those have skin grafts from up here.
But Twana admits the deepest scars come from within.
The emotional scars are a lot deeper and longer. People don't see them. They tend to look at you and think, oh, you're doing great. And, you know, sometimes you are, sometimes you aren't.
As hard as it is to talk about, she's sharing her story as an advocate for red flag laws.
It's not about taking away gun rights. It's about keeping families healthy.
Because as Tawana has already proven, when she feels like something is wrong, she's determined to act.
We would like this looked at this year, this session, today. Let's not wait till someone else is going through this.
Chris Davis, News Channel 5.
Tawana says she is willing to testify on Tennessee's Capitol Hill if legislators are willing to consider red flag laws this session.
Nearly 2 weeks after the tragedy at the Covenant School, the community came together in prayer. Easter services yesterday at Covenant Presbyterian Church marked the first time the congregation gathered on campus since the March 27th shooting. As for Covenant students, no date set for them to return to normal classes there, but we know Brentwood Hills Church of Christ will be the temporary location for them. As the community recovers, there are still several ways to help. The Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee continues to oversee the Caring for Covenant Fund and the Covenant Campus Fund. 100% of the donations go toward the victims' families or to the rebuilding efforts on campus. And a link to those remains on our website. You know, there's something to be said about the healing power of music.
And tomorrow night, a country icon will discuss a 30-year-old song with a timeless message. Garth Brooks and songwriter Stephanie Davis will talk about the continuing importance of their song, We Shall Be Free. The track is a call to unity, peace, and social justice. It was released back in 1992 in response to the Los Angeles riots. The Vanderbilt Divinity School will host the evening event at the Langford Auditorium. It is free, but you will want to reserve a spot online through the Divinity School's website. Straight ahead, a local celebrity goes missing.
Yeah, she was last seen wearing a green dress, weighs just a few pounds. We'll explain. Plus, driving Nashville into the future, getting solutions for a smoother, faster commute might just come from you.
It was a mass murder that made history in Middle Tennessee. Trial 1 of 2 was set to happen on Wednesday, but now it's on hold indefinitely.
Sunshine and warmer temperatures today. That's the trend for much of the week. A detailed check of the forecast is coming up. You're watching News Channel 5 at 6.
A victory for Metro Nashville, at least for now. A 3-judge panel temporarily halted a state plan to cut the number of Metro Council members in half from 40 to 20. Metro sued the state after the Republican supermajority passed the Metro Council Reduction Act. Now that move will be on hold until the lawsuit goes through the court process.
The much anticipated trial of an accused mass murderer set to begin this week, now postponed indefinitely. This surprise announcement came from the judge this past weekend. Michael Cummins was supposed to finally go to trial this Wednesday, some 4 years after he was charged in Sumner County with the worst mass murder in Tennessee history. The 8 victims included Cummins' own parents, an uncle, and a child. Judge D. Gay has decided to put that trial on hold indefinitely, but has not yet given a reason as to why. We know a new date will be set soon. In the meantime, Cummins remains locked up without bond in the Riverbend Maximum Security Prison.
It is no secret downtown Nashville continues to boom. The area is home to 63,000 daily commuters. In order to keep up with growth, transportation leaders are studying ways to improve mobility downtown. News Channel 5's Olivia Michael explains why they want your help.
Whether it's potholes, sidewalks, or traffic congestion, locals have thoughts on how downtown Nashville could be improved, and transportation leaders want to hear about them.
Yeah, I definitely think there should be more accessible free parking.
The parking lots that we have are really expensive, and it's hard to even know how much you're going to pay.
Getting around downtown Nashville.
When there are accidents, finding safer ways to clear the roads faster
can be a challenge. But transportation leaders hope to fix that. Over the last year, NDOT, TDOT, WeGo, and the Nashville Downtown Partnership have joined forces for a study called Connect Downtown, which aims to improve the way people get around the city's core.
I really do think they need to find some way to expand or work on the exit structure or diverting traffic in other ways.
Areas where you can park at a lower cost would be great, but also areas where you can park and have some kind of freedom.
This includes improving pedestrian safety, public transportation, and reducing congestion. It comes at a time when the area is seeing unprecedented growth.
Well, I think we're a little too crowded. I think we're spending a lot of time focusing on bringing people in from other cities, both for tourism and, relocation, and a little less time focusing on those that live here.
Now, as the study enters its final phase, the public has until the end of April to give feedback that could help drive downtown Nashville into the future. Olivia Michael, News Channel 5.
Once the public comment period comes to an end in a few weeks, a final action plan will be developed to fund and implement the projects and programs downtown. If you would like to share your thoughts, we have information to do so at newschannel5.com.
Meantime, out in Cookeville, public transportation is going electric. Tennessee Tech engineers spoke with our traffic anchor, Rebecca Schleicher, about teaming up with the Upper Cumberland Human Resources Agency on a new electric shuttle bus, one that's been 3 years in the making.
It is the very first electric shuttle bus in a rural transit agency in Tennessee, and we're proud to make that happen.
This shuttle is the latest push from tech researchers to change perceptions about electric vehicles. While EVs are becoming more popular in urban areas, they're still rare out in rural communities. The vehicle will shuttle students and the larger community as researchers study how electric public transportation can work in less populated towns.
But they are going to perform their services on Tennessee Tech's campus with it for the first couple months, just to see how it works, get a feel for it, let their drivers give them feedback, that sort of thing. After that, it's going to be used throughout the Cookeville region as well.
Yeah, they're going to track just how much electricity it uses, how often it needs to charge, and how much it costs to operate. It's a case study that they say could be an example for rural areas across the South.
A nursing home celebrity gone without a trace. News Channel 5's Alexandra Cohen has the latest on the search.
In Robertson County near the Kentucky border, the farmland is quiet. But on Saturday afternoon, Erica Powell was frantic as she searched fields for her missing sidekick for hours.
She brings out happiness in all the communities that she goes to. So she is definitely very special.
She's talking about Miss Piglet, a therapy pig who went out for a potty break and vanished.
She couldn't have disappeared that fast or gone that far. It was only a couple minutes, so I don't know that she could have gone that far.
Erica says this is not just a family pet. Piglet goes with her to visit seniors and nursing homes in the Clarksville and Springfield areas. She even puts on a show for their enrichment activities.
If you bring her to senior community, it'll trigger memories. Somebody will say, oh, I used to own pigs, or I had a little lady who was, she said, oh, I used to and grow possums. She reminds me of our possums.
Erica believes Piglet is still alive because she's intelligent.
She's too good to be gone. I don't know that I can, I don't know.
Piglet was last seen in a green dress with a flower-patterned collar. Reward signs are posted in the Pinson Road and Red River School Road community. Erica hopes someone has found her.
She's so smart. Honestly, she's house trained, and so that's my fear. It's like, oh, are they gonna want to give her back?
But the elderly people Piglet visits really miss her, and Erica does too.
And she loves attention, and she just brings smiles out.
Reporting in Robertson County, Alexandra Cohen, News Channel 5.
Kangaroos,
little piglets. What have we gone to?
Keep your eye out.
Yes.
But hey, beautiful weather out there.
Just gorgeous. All week long, this is going to be great.
Folks are going to be outdoors enjoying the nice weather. If you need to have plans to do that. Maybe go on an extra long walk in the evening because the weather, terrific. About 80 degrees by the end of the week and dry. There are some rain chances in our future. They arrive later in the week. We'll get to that in just a moment. Right now, I want to show you this beautiful shot from the one and only Sky 5, looking down towards the Country Music Hall of Fame, Music City Center right there. and Hall of Fame Park as well. Just a beautiful evening across Middle Tennessee as we look at this live image. 72 degrees to go along with this beautiful shot, and a north wind at 3 miles per hour. In Cookeville, on the campus of Tennessee Tech, 69 degrees right now. You can see the sun on the horizon. About an hour away from sunset. The same in Gallatin, we're at 72 degrees, and we're about an hour away from sunset as well. And as we look in Murfreesboro, same story there with a clear sky and 73 our temperature. 66 Crossville, McMinnville's at 68, at 73 in Lafayette, while Hopkinsville checks in at 70 degrees, 75 in Parsons. Just delightful weather for April, to say the least, if you are a fan of these warmer temperatures. Here's what's going on with Exact Track. If you're over the rain, if you're over the damp and the cold,